Hello everyone, how are you doing my friends? My name is Siyabonga Forex Lover. So I'm back again with another video and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, feel at home. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment and share. Today I will talk about a topic: why you should use supply and demand in your trading. Why using supply and demand in trading? Okay, all right. Here in front of me I have a picture of supply and demand. As you can see that will this allow me to draw? I hope so. It will allow me. In front of me I have a demand. As you can see, the market was going down, pulled back, down, and ended in this demand area. So after that the market went up, pulled back, bounced around this demand area until the upside. As you can see, I'm trying to show you now why you should use supply and demand in your trading. Okay, and one thing that you must know: supply is where big institutions sell from and buy from. When I say big institution, I mean the big banks, who are sometimes referred as the big boys, the hedge funds, the small hedge funds, corporates, and so on and so forth. So they are being called with different names. Some call them smart money. All right, and let us dissect now what happens when price is entering our zone. What happens? All right, as you can see here on this chart, this market was going up without a pullback. It was going up without no pullback, as you can see. But once it enters here, it dropped a little bit and then end again and drop a little bit. So at this point of time, this was not a confirmed supply zone. But once price dropped, removing all these minor rally base rally, rally base rally, rally base rally demand zones, and then we got ourselves a supply zone. So as I was saying, what is happening when price comes and tests the supply zone? As you can see, that price, when the price comes back and tests the zone, it reacts. So expect a reaction. So whether it's a small reaction or a reversal, the market went back, and then now, so what I want to mention is, so for the people who are trading double tops and double bottoms, don't just trade a double top anywhere. So this one I would take it with a free. I would take this one freely. That's what I want to say. I would take this one freely because this is a double top, or it's a double top formation, which is top number 1 and top number 2, which is it's an M formation happening at a supply. So that's one of the things that I want you to take out of this video. So if you want to trade double bottom, double tops, head and shoulder, trade them from an area of a supply. That's what I wanted to highlight. So look what happened when the market, let's see, when the market came back, what happened? A reaction again. See, that is why I'm saying this video is about why you should be trading supply and demand. You see, this one will hold until price break it and retest it and continue the upside. Otherwise, one thing also to note that is that the more a supply is getting tested, the weaker it becomes. As the market keeps coming back and touching it, as the market keeps coming back and touching it, is the weaker it becomes. It doesn't get strong at all. So I want you to keep that in mind. If you like what I'm sharing right now, I highly recommend that you check out my mentor, which is Norfolk FX Trader, also known as Jonathan. So I'm going to leave his links in the description. As I'm being mentored by someone, I'm also transferring the information to you guys for free of charge. But if you want something more than what I'm sharing right now, I will link his details in the description, so that you can go to his website, he also have a YouTube channel. You can even go to his YouTube channel and learn more in depth about what I'm sharing right now. Okay, so one thing to note right now, let us start from fresh. Let's start fresh. Let's do Euro GBP. So if we are going to look for supply and demand zones in this Euro GBP chart, the first thing to do to note that is that the daily time frame is your key time frame when trading. So we need to make sure that we are following the direction of the daily. So if the daily direction is to the upside, then we need to be buying. Okay, let us draw our daily demand and supply. This is a valid demand. Let's do a supply. A supply would be somewhere there. You can't call this one a supply because it didn't break this one. So for a supply, we have to go to the highest zone. Okay, for me to draw a supply, I would draw it like this. Anyway, I would draw it like this and make sure that I also accommodate the recent bounce. This bounce happened as this supply was created. The market went down, then it made a pullback, and then the market bounced on that supply. So this is a supply as it went back down. So that's our daily supply. So after getting our daily demand and supply, we can go now to the 4 hour. Okay, the first thing that you must also ask yourself, when you are looking for 4 hour supply and demand, you must ask yourself, is the supply tested? Is the demand tested? You know, because you want to trade only fresh or untested level of supply and demand. So maybe no one told you this, but it's a fact. It's a fact. This one is an untested area of supply on the 4 hour. Untested. Okay, so let's look for an untested demand zone on the 4 hour. So this one is a tested area of demand. You see, on the 4 hour. This one is a tested area of demand, but if we go lower, I believe we can find there our untested area of demand. Actually, it's tested by this week. If you notice this week is the one that came and test this 4 hour demand zone. Okay, so looks like we don't have we do have actually, but this is nested inside the daily it's inside the daily demand zone. So for our untested area of demand is this one. So on the 4 hour, we cannot or will not be looking. We will not be looking to take a buy when the market comes back to this 4 hour demand zone here. Let's make an example where it is now, when price is, it is now at the current price. If market pulls back here, we won't be looking for buys because it's a tested area of demand, but we'll wait for the market to break this one and come back and come to our untested. But actually, I don't even like this untested area because as well as when it was coming back, the market went back up and came here. So we currently don't have an untested area of demand on the 4 hours. Also, I don't really like the supply. Also. That's what I want to note. So let us delete because we don't have an area of untested area of demand. Because let me show you why I don't like this area of supply, because to me this area of supply looks like it was tested, because we know that the market, even if it doesn't really touch the area, because it is also still treated as an area because it's not precise. So even if I drawn it this way, like this, it doesn't mean that it's a perfect zone. You can draw it, you can never draw it perfect. So as long as there's this week, as the market was dropping, there's this week that came too close to it. So this can be a tested area of supply. So when you are analyzing the market like this, it means that you will take this one, Euro JPY, out of your watch list, because you can see that if you want to trade based actually on the 4 hour. Okay, let's look at the 1 hour and see if we can find an untested area of supply and demand. So let's check a 1 hour demand. This one was a demand but broken. Let's look to the left. If there is actually an area, here is one. I think this is one untested area of 1 hour demand. You see, this one I can't really see it was tested. This one I can't say it was tested because price didn't come too close to it. Let's go down. You see, the price turned before it touched our 1 hour demand zone, so we can't say it's tested. So let's look for 1 hour. So we won't trade. So on this chart, we'll buy only when it comes there. If you are using the strict supply and demand trading strategy. So also let's look for a supply zone. A supply zone on the 1 hour can still be inside of this one. So we'll just use, it's the one that I could take here. It's the one that I could take, to be honest. So to be honest with you, don't know what is happening. Okay, I would only trade this market when it touches there. So right now, if it comes here, I won't sell here. I will let them sell. It will come, maybe it might come down a little bit just to induce them. Then go deeper. That is the only place I could sell on Euro JPY using supply and demand. Of course, I wait for some confirmation, which are also shared in the course by my mentor Norfolk. Also, I would wait for it to come there and buy only with the confirmation that is shared inside the course by my mentor. So actually, this is how it will make it look. Yes, just like this. So that's all I can share for Euro JPY. So another thing that I want to mention, you can also determine the currency strength using supply and demand. Identify the strength. Remember, I shared a video about correlation. Also, that is also related to the currency strength in some way. Otherwise, comment in the comment section if you want me to do a video based on the strength and weakness of the currency, particular currency. Also, you can also use a trend line. which is in conjunction with this supply and demand. You know, let's make an example on this chart. Let's make an example on this chart. Let's say the market continued down and it touched our 1 hour demand. We can also draw a trend line just like this, momentum trend line. Once the market break the trend line, then we will look for a retest for continuation, which is we could have been in this move right here if actually it indeed touched a zone. So let me also show you on the 4 hours chart. Let's see if there's a trend line somewhere there. Okay, here on the 4 hours there is no trend line on the supply, actually on the supply. Let's look for a different chart and see if we can find a nice example here. Remember, always we start on the daily and look for areas of supply and demand. So on our daily, our last supply could be around there. If you like, you can include that week from that one. And then let's look for a demand zone. Looks like a demand zone could be way here, which is a tested area of demand zone. So this is our tested area of demand on the, and I also want to tell you that on the higher time frames you can use tested area like the weekly and the monthly, because the price takes some time to break on the higher time frame. It's much slower than a lower time frame. So maybe we are waiting for this to come there and sell it according to the daily. Okay, so now let's go to the 4 hour. So also another thing that I want to mention is that you can use set and forget kind of style for the supply. So if you are working, you have a day job, what you can do right now, you can look for a 4 hour supply that is untested and 4 hour demand that is untested. And also I want to mention that the supply the set and forget can only be applied on higher time frame, which is the 4 hour, maybe the 1 hour, but the 4 hour and the daily are perfect for set and forget kind of trading. So here there's an untested area of supply on the 4 hour. So what I recommend now, I recommend as a set and forget, you do your sell limit there, wait for a price, a sell limit there, put your stop loss above there. If this supply zone is created by the big banks, they won't allow price to come and break and close above it, but instead they will just maybe consolidate around it and inside it, and then reverse the market if it's the banks that created it, or the hedge funds, the big boys. Okay, so let's look for demand zone on the 4 hour as we are concluding this video. Looks like we can't really find a demand zone except if we go back too much on this one. If we go back too much on this one, we can make this one as our untested area of demand on the 4 hour. I'll change the color to blue. This is a high and a low. It is a distal line and the proximal line. Actually, it's tested. Can you see? This is why I said in the first place, this is why you should use supply and demand in the trading. Market couldn't break it. Market came and tried to break it and went up. It came again and tried to break it and went up. So that is exactly why you should you should use supply and demand in the trading. So I hope you have learned something. If you want to learn some more, don't forget that I have links to my mentor's education. I think maybe he might even explain better than me. But now I just shared something that he taught me that I understand in my own understanding. So out of the top, so thank you so much everyone. I see you when I make another video.